Hello there again, my mustachioed friends. I had been hoping to bring you some Star Wars content before training camp, but as I'm feeling uninspired on that front, I thought I'd bring you a list. Everyone loves lists, right?
Here's tonight's top 10 list, everybody. Let's...
Well, I thought I'd go through a list of the top 10 worst Bears draft picks of the modern era. We will use 1993 as the cutoff date, as that is the year the draft became the 7-round affair that we are accustomed to today. Besides, what do I know if Bulldog Turner was a value pick in 1940? The guy probably got paid $3.25 and a carton of Pall Malls for his first year in the league. So we will keep this limited to a time when taking big swings and misses at the top of the draft could cost you dearly. This is my top 10 based on draft position, performance with the team, and what the team may have given up in order to get this player. And I will once again preface this with the fact that I'm an idiot. I'm Joby Wan, and welcome to my insanity.
83.
At number 10, I submit to you, Tevin Jenkins.
A 10! A 10!
Now, this is the only player on this list not selected in the first round, but being taken at 39th overall in 2021, still a significantly high selection. Drafted as a tackle out of Oklahoma State, Jenkins was never really able to get up to speed with the Bears in his rookie season. Nagging back issues would keep him out of OTAs and training camp, and he would ultimately start the season on injured reserve, requiring back surgery. While spending a significant amount of time on the injured list, his greatest issue would be never finding a comfortable spot to play on the line, having made starts at every position except for center. Jenkins would become a free agent after the 2024 season and sign a one-year deal with the Cleveland Browns. At number 9, I present to you the long-forgotten Shea Mlen. Not many outside of Bears fandom remember this guy, but for those of us in the fandom, we remember reacting to this pick like a drunken mailman from Milwaukee. Drafted out of Boise State in 2012, McClellan was a hybrid defensive end outside linebacker, but due to his size and speed, was projected out to be a 3-4 outside linebacker by most of the talking heads. Many were shocked not only when Phil Emery drafted him with the 19th overall pick, but doubled down on it, saying McClellan would be a hand-on-the-ground defensive end in Lovey's Tampa 2. McClellan would spend 4 years with the team, recording 98 solo tackles and 7.5 sacks as a Bear. His one claim to fame would be a Week 9 matchup against the Packers in 2013, in which he would sack Aaron Rodgers 3 times, the final of which would knock him out until the finale of the season. That finale saw Aaron Rodgers return to complete the game-winning touchdown to Randall Cobb in the end zone, while Chris Conte had decided to plant his heels on the first down marker, securing the berth for the Packers and eliminating the Bears from playoff contention. Sorry to reopen that wound, guys. At number 8,
You eight-legged freaks!
we have offensive tackle Chris Williams. Drafted at 14th overall out of Vanderbilt. There's not a ton to say about this guy other than he was oft injured and average at best. He would make every start in his sophomore season, but would miss a total of 24 games between 2008 and 2012, with 3 of those occurring after he had been traded to the Rams in the 2012 season. Now, nationally, some of you guys are going to think I'm crazy when we talk about this next guy. But at number 7,
Override code accepted.
Lucky number 7.
we have Leonard Floyd. Drafted 9th overall out of Georgia in 2016, the Bears were looking to add some raw talent to their pass rush that consisted of an aging Pernell McPhee and a resurgent Willie Young. Floyd would never seem to really develop in Chicago, but many would argue that there was not enough talent around him in order to help him. He would play 4 years in Chicago, recording 108 solo tackles and 18.5 sacks. The Bears did have faith in him, picking up his 5th-year option, but then ultimately released him after 4 years, allowing him to sign with the Rams and become a Super Bowl champion. Lining up next to the likes of Aaron Donald, Floyd has recorded at least 8.5 sacks in each of his last 4 NFL seasons. His best year with the Bears was as a rookie with 7. Now, I know it's not kind to speak ill of the dead, but he's going on this list. At number 6, we have Cedric Benson. Taken 4th overall in the 2005 NFL Draft, this Longhorn would be compared, fairly or unfairly, to Ricky Williams at every turn. It is somewhat understandable when they both went to the same college, had similar builds, similar running styles, similar haircuts, similar off-field issues with alcohol and marijuana. and both had been minor league baseball players. At a time when rookie contracts were not slotted, Benson would hold out for 36 days, causing him to be out of shape and unprepared for his rookie season. Veteran Thomas Jones would carry the load, with Benson being sprinkled in before a season-ending injury. In 3 years with the Bears, Benson would rush for 1,593 yards and 10 touchdowns, averaging just over 500 yards a season with the Bears. After being released by the Bears, he would go on to have a resurgence in Cincinnati, posting 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. In a 2016 interview, Benson stated, "At no point was I happy in Chicago." Bringing up the middle of this list at number 5, we have former Michigan wideout David Terrell. Drafted with the 8th overall pick in 2001, he experienced a significant drop-off going to the Bears, having caught passes from Tom Brady during his career in Michigan. No disrespect to them, but it's a bit of a drop-off when you have Jim Miller and Shane Matthews throwing you the ball. However, when they made this pick, the Bears did pass up several eventual superstar wide receivers like Santana Moss, Chad Johnson, Reggie Wayne, and Steve Smith. It's hard to dig up a lot of info from this period, but I do recall some boneheaded moments on the field, like celebrating first downs in a losing effort, and punting the ball into the stands after a scoring play. He would play 4 years in Chicago, catching only 128 balls for 1,602 yards and 9 touchdowns. Afterwards, the Bears would release him, and he would never play another down of football.
All right, go. 4.
Coming in at number 4, we have Curtis Enus. I said Enus. Taken 5th overall in 1998, he would be another Bears running back to hold out during training camp, missing 26 days. After making 1 start during the 1998 campaign, he would tear a ligament in his knee and miss the rest of the season. He would spend 3 years in the league, all with the Bears, totaling 1,497 rushing yards and only 4 touchdowns. Now, before we get to the top 3 on this list, there are a few honorable mentions to throw out there. First, we have Jerron Gilbert, the man who made headlines for jumping out of a pool. Lord. Next, we have Todd Sauerbrunn. He was taken in the 2nd round with the 56th overall pick in the draft. Why is this a big deal? Dude was a punter. While making 2nd team All-Pro in 1996, he was injury-plagued the rest of the time, driving around his car with his awful vanity plates that read, "Hang time." And finally, I had no idea, but while researching this video, I discovered that the Bears actually drafted, but never signed, one of the scariest looking men walking this earth in Bob Sapp.
Junior McGinnis, let me tell you something. You're too light. You're too light to fight, and you're too thin to win.
Yes, the wrestler, kickboxer, MMA fighter, etc. Now, we may disagree on the order, but I think most Bear fans can agree that these 3 definitely belong at the top of the list.
3 never stops.
At number 3, we have the much maligned Cade McNown. In a situation similar to the 2021 NFL Draft, 5 quarterbacks would be taken in the top 12 picks in the 1999 NFL Draft, with Cade McNown being the final one selected. As the Bears' signal caller, he would earn the ire of fans, teammates, and media alike, with poor performance, offhanded remarks, boasting about his contract, and telling booing fans to stay home. He would go just 3-12 in his 2 seasons as a starter, and would finish up his career in Chicago by skipping a charity event, and then being forced to apologize for it. Clearly tired of his act, Chicago would trade him to the Dolphins, and then he would spend some time in San Francisco, but ultimately McNown would never take another regular season snap again. Nearing the top at number 2.
Number 2? Number 2! Ah!
We have the off-injured Kevin White. Taken out of West Virginia in 2015 with the 7th overall pick, there are many who believe Ryan Pace knew Kevin White was injured when he drafted him. White would miss most of the offseason activities, and 3 weeks into training camp would have a steel rod inserted into his tibia due to a stress fracture. He would not appear in a single game in his rookie year. He would start 4 games in his sophomore year before ending that season with a fractured fibula in the same leg. White would start the opener in 2017, fracturing his collarbone and again missing the entire regular season. On one last final gasp in October of 2018, White would catch a 54-yarder from Mitch Trubisky, but ultimately be stopped 1 yard shy of the end zone, causing the Bears to lose the game 38-31. He finished his career with the Bears with only 25 catches for 285 yards and no touchdowns. He would bounce around to a couple of more teams, but only record 3 more catches over 2 seasons with the Saints. And here we are at number 1.
Everybody knows Tony Vivaldi is number 1.
I think we can all agree on this one, considering what they gave up and who they passed on to take this quarterback. Of course, I am speaking of none other than North Carolina Tar Heel Mitchell Trubisky. Now, it does pain me, as I genuinely like the kid, but he was overdrafted at the number 2 spot in the 2017 NFL Draft. The Bears would swap spots with the 49ers, as well as giving up 2 third-rounders and a 4th-rounder, in order to take the kid with only 13 starts under his belt as a Tar Heel. While he was expected to go in the first round, the Bears would likely not have had to trade up from 3 to 2 in order to get him. And either way, they passed on Deshaun Watson, which is probably a good thing, and perennial Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes. Now, to say Mitch was a complete bust would be unfair. His first season was hampered by a John Fox who was clearly phoning it in, and a journeyman OC in Dowell Loggins who has found his home in the college ranks as of late. Mitch managed to have a serviceable sophomore season under first-year coach Matt Nagy, even throwing for 6 touchdowns in a game against the Buccaneers. Of course, the season would end with Mitch putting Cody Parkey into position for what Chris Collinsworth would coin as the double doink.
Oh my goodness, the Bears season's going to end on a double doink.
Nagy would spend 2 more years trying to pound a square peg Mitch into his round hole offense, and the Bears would let him become a free agent after 4 years in Chicago. Well, there you have it, my friends. An incomplete and incomprehensive list of what I believe to be the top 10 Bears draft busts of the modern era. Is there someone you think I left out? Someone who shouldn't be there? I open it up to you for friendly debate in the comments. Once again, I thank you for joining me for my nonsense. Please like, subscribe, share, and I hope to see you again real soon.